Everything you think you know about ninjas, the black outfits, the secret clans, the master assassins, yeah, most of that's straight-up fiction. The real story is way more wild and complicated. We're talking about stealth warriors who could be anyone, a monk, a poet, a merchant, even your average soldier. They weren't some special superhero class. They were just people who got really, really good at not being seen. So let's dive into medieval Japan and figure out who these shinobi actually were before Hollywood got their hands on them. Picture this. From far away, this castle looks like a dying candle, just getting swallowed up by shadows. The lord running this fortress is some dude named Udono. Meanwhile, somewhere else, the clan he serves is holding hostage a wife and son of this young, absolutely fierce commander who later becomes known as Tokugawa Ieyasu. Ieyasu's forces roll up to the castle without anyone noticing. So Udono's fate is basically sealed at this point. Guards start getting taken down so quietly that, and this is crazy, the defenders actually think the attack must be coming from traitors inside their own walls. Wild, right? The intruders torch the fort. Smoke and panic mess with everyone's heads, and the garrison gets slaughtered. The attackers grab Udono's head and capture his two sons. That was the whole point, leverage. Ieyasu trades these noble captives for his own family members and gives major props to the operatives who pulled it off. Later accounts call these stealth warriors shinobi, which is part of a compound word that got pronounced in the 20th century as ninja. But here's the real deal. In medieval Japan, the term shinobi doesn't really refer to some established warrior class. It's more often describing an act or a temporary identity, stealth tactics, and the various people who use them during a super violent time. Since the late 15th century, central government authority in Japan has basically fallen apart. Powers ended up in the hands of local warlords and warriors who are strong enough to hold on to it. The most powerful among them, including this guy Oda Nobunaga, are threatening to unite the whole country by force. But lords everywhere are raising their own samurai and soldiers to defend their turf and conquer others, and tons of them are using the arts of secrecy and stealth. The people practicing shinobi ways aren't running around in black outfits. They're often hiding in plain sight, right in front of their enemies. That traveling monkey trainer? The merchant? The wandering poet? Yeah, any of them could be a spy gathering intel in some rival lord's territory. Samurai and regular soldiers are also getting used for stealth operations. Warriors sneak into tall grass at night, lie completely still for hours, and when enemies get close, records say the kusa or shinobi would spring up, block their escape route, and kill them. Brutal stuff. You can also find people with shinobi skills in the darker corners of Japan. Since central order collapsed and war broke out, the mountains and woods have become hangouts for bandits. Smart lords have figured out how to use these rogues for their own purposes. One clan's records show that these pillaging bandits, who were once both hated and admired at the same time, got put on a warlord's payroll as part of his army. The records say they skillfully looked for thieves in our own province, found them, and slit their throats. Yikes. The fact that some of these rogues have mastered stealth creates serious fear, even among lords living in huge castles. A member of the Hojo clan learns that hundreds of them are coming and warns. It's cold this time of year, so shinobi wouldn't approach unless it's a moonlit night. Nevertheless, rotate the watchmen 3 times during the night. Roll down the stones, throw torches, and observe everything around you. They're legit terrified. War's got Japan all divided up, but order's about to be restored through massive bloodshed. Oda Nobunaga, the Oda clan, has gathered tens of thousands of samurai and soldier recruits, including divisions using arquebus, those early firearms the Portuguese first introduced in 1543. If Nobunaga wants to conquer his rivals, he's also got to venture into these lands carved up by mountains and sketchy passes, the small, allied regions of Koka and Iga. These places aren't run by aggressive warlords, but by confederacies of jisamurai, basically rural samurai with strong connections to regular folks. Determined to defend themselves from invasion, the people of Iga and Koka have gotten really good at espionage, stealth, and guerrilla tactics alongside traditional warfare. Actually, it was men from Koka who got recruited to attack Udono as Nobunaga pushes into neighboring regions. The fighters from IGA and Koka go to help the resistance, but they don't have much success. Nobunaga overthrows what's left of the central shogunate government, and to celebrate the new year of 1574, he proudly displays the skulls of several high-ranking enemies, coated in gold. Flex much? He then proceeds to completely wipe out the Koka Confederacy. In 1579, Nobunaga's son invades IGA because they defied his father's authority and killed soldiers he sent earlier. But sharp-eyed spies have been tracking his movements. Warriors ambush thousands of the invaders at rocky choke points and cut them down in valleys and rice fields. Nobunaga absolutely rips into his son for such a deadly failure. That is unspeakable. It is disgraceful. If your character really is like this, I shall not permit the parental tie between us to continue. Damn, that's cold. Basically disowning him. Streams of war banners and angry samurai flood into IGA. An army roughly 60,000 strong invades from 6 different directions. This is Oda Nobunaga's revenge, and it's about to get ugly. Nowhere is safe. The invaders systematically destroy everything, torching homes and slaughtering the families of IGA warriors, massacring forts full of defenders and Buddhist temples. Records say the corpses of priests and laymen were piled high in the courtyard where they lay scattered like strange autumn leaves, lying deep of mourning. That's some dark poetry right there. After forces under his son capture a key castle, Nobunaga himself arrives in IGA to check out the crumbling lands of his enemies. A later account tells that 3 IGA shinobi come out hiding and bombard his party with small cannons. They kill several of his companions, but Nobunaga survives. One final stronghold of resistance is still holding out in IGA. Kashiwara Castle gets surrounded, and supposedly the outnumbered IGA defenders resort to shinobi tactics. Some sneak out disguised as beggars and plant torches to create the illusion of this massive army chasing the enemy. The diversion gets discovered, but the defenders keep going. Night after night, they come down the Dark Hill, show up in the invader camps, and slaughter dozens with fire and blades. But faced with starvation, the garrison eventually has to surrender. No other choice. IGA gets divided up among Nobunaga's generals, and any rebel warriors still hanging around are driven into hiding, destined to become legends along with their conquered brothers in arms. Because even as Nobunaga gets attacked by a traitor and dies the following year, the cause of reunifying Japan gets picked up and accomplished by other people, including Ieyasu. With relative peace and stability, there's way less opportunity for battlefield glory using shinobi tactics. And so, in IGA and Koka, a genuine history of seriously impressive stealth resistance gets embellished with tales of specialized ninja clans who supposedly possessed exclusive regional shinobi knowledge. That's where the myths start piling up. Soon you've got these evolved myths of shinobi as masterful assassins dressed in black, belonging to shadowy secret orders. These aspects seem so central to the whole idea of a ninja that scholars are left wondering if a true ninja ever really existed at all. Was he the IGA warrior, the killer hiding in the grass, the wandering poet, or none of them? The stealth agents across Japan, as one pair of scholars puts it, belong to heterogeneous groups united only by their skills in irregular warfare. They became ninja only retrospectively, meaning people looking back created that identity. And so the ninja in history remains as elusive as his reputation suggests. Some of the commanders who use ninja-style warfare were actually inspired by ancient Chinese military tactics from Sun Tzu. Japan and China actually still share strategic ties, but it barely gets covered. Not surprising. Honestly, feels like the news is dominated by just a handful of stories from outlets with their own agendas. That's a whole different topic, though. So yeah, the real history of ninjas is way messier and more interesting than the movies make it seem. These weren't members of some ancient assassin guild with secret techniques passed down through generations. They were farmers, soldiers, bandits, and samurai who all figured out that sometimes the best way to win a fight is to never let your enemy see you coming. The black outfits and throwing stars? That came later, when peace made the reality boring, and legends made it legendary. The truth is always more complicated than the myth, but in this case, it's also way cooler.